Hello, good people of the internet. Today we're playing Striving for Light, which is a roguelike ARPG kind of game. Basically, you take the role of one of these heroes and you're going to go out into some dark world and you're aiming for light of some kind. There is a hardcore mode, but the meta progression, which we'll get to in a bit, is the same between the two. So if you really don't like yourself, then I suppose you can play the hardcore mode, which means that anytime you die, you die, but in the softcore mode, you will get 3 shields that prevent you from dying, and dying without a shield terminates your run. Each defeated gatekeeper boss recharges 1 shield. So you can basically, each level has a gatekeeper, and you basically can't lose that level 3 times. You start with 2 playable characters. There are others that you can unlock, but for me, they seem to require a lot to actually unlock them. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but, you know, for example, this guy rescued Darrikin and give him 30 light fragments. Okay, I think I rescued him on one of my runs, but then I've never got 30 light fragments on one of my runs, so wouldn't be able to do that. It's something you can probably aim for towards the end of the game, or like if you're better at it than me, probably as well. Helasia, or Helea, unlock all skills and give Helea 30 light fragments, which again you can do. Except you'll see, we'll talk to her in the game. There are presumably lots and lots of skills in the game, so it's going to take you a long time to unlock more characters. Unless one of these is, you know, reaching level 40. So maybe you can unlock some of these. Basically, the difference between the first two is one of them is geared more towards melee, and the other one, and they are like anti-projectile slightly, plus 20%, minus 20%, and the other one is more for the magic, like plus 20% projectile, minus 20% melee. I have been favoring this, the magic, so we'll go with that. This is like your overworld. You can switch weapons with shift, you can dash with your spacebar, walking around with WASD, and you're aiming. You can, if you're using projectiles, you can fire like this, or if you're using the big sword, then okay, that's how you're going to do that. You can pick up different weapons in the game, like whilst you're playing, which we'll get to in a second. But these are the 2 that you start with. If you want to see any of the statistics around those weapons, then you can come into the skill tree, which we'll get to into more detail later, but you can see, like, here's our short sword, it does damage, and here's our light staff, and it does damage as well. Anyway, in this overworld, we've for some reason started with light, I'm not quite sure why, but you can talk to this guy, and he can unlock more weapons, so these are just for random dropping later on. But to do that requires 10 of this light, and so your aim really is to kind of go through the world and get the light, in terms of meta progression anyway, get the light and give it to these people. It just doesn't drop very often. And this is Helea, who is where you unlock skills from, and those skills we saw in the tree. The skill tree a second ago. There is also this tree, which is your tree of light, which is again meta progression. You can see I haven't actually progressed that far, and I've played a few hours. Well, maybe I was just playing it slow. But each legacy level, so now I'm in the 3rd legacy level, it's going to cost me 13 light to get a point, and then one of these points I can use, you know, to go up this tree. So I've been going down this energy regeneration path. But on this tree, there's increased movement, there's increased area effect, there's extra health, extra dodge regeneration, attack speed, and all the good stuff. So anyway, so you're trying to get light through the runs to do all of these things in progression. If I wanted to, you can also get companions, and you can actually start with one, I think, if you give them some light. But we're going to leave that for now. I reckon that's good enough start. So then, this is the Pathfinder, I guess. That's what it calls it at the top. You're starting here, and you're aiming. Well, I don't really know where you're aiming to get. I think you're waiting for something to appear. The Eternal Gatekeeper or something. But anyway, you only really have one choice. You kind of have to go to the next world, which is this one. And you can either just go to it, or you can augment it. So there's like these 2 circles here, which, okay, they're empty, but you can add an augmentation to it, and that makes it slightly harder. Or you can transform it to a new map. So this is basement 1, This is forest 1, so if we augment it, it would go to something else. We're just going to play the basement as a beginning, so you can see. It changes the portal, but it doesn't take you there immediately, in case you didn't want to. This then tells you how to play the game when you first load into the basement. It's kind of helpful. There's someone in the distance saying, help me, which maybe we will. And yeah, so, you know, space to dodge, AWSD to move, active ability and stuff, which we don't have until we have a trinket of some kind. And there's a mini-map, and Pathfinder was this thing, but I don't know. You don't need it in the main game. Anyway, the enemies have realized that I exist, and that's how you use the sword. And this is why... I mean, it's not awful. That's how you can fight with the sword. I just found it better to use the wand. Anyway, so defeating all those enemies, we have now gone up from level... this on the outer here is your experience points. So we've gone up from level 1 to level 2, and we've got a point. You can press T to go into your skills, as it tells you. And then this is the skill tree. So we now have 1 point. And we can choose, we're on the starting node, we can choose to go anywhere. And that's kind of, you know, we can now choose how our run is going to work out. There is a difference between energy and endurance. If we go back on the screen, you can see there are 3 bars at the top and 3 bars at the bottom, blue and green. The blue bars are your energy. The green bars are your endurance. And your weapon, I think, this is what it means, because it doesn't necessarily explain it. Your weapon tells you, oh yeah, it does tell you if you hover over it. So for my short sword, then it costs us 1 endurance to swing it. Or for a light staff, it costs us 1, what is this called? Energy to use. And also it tells us how quickly these things regenerate. So 2.3 energy per second is what we're getting back. And that sounds like great. But you can get weapons which cost more. They cost 1 of each, or they cost 2 of one and none of the other. But also, the reason why I'm mentioning it is because you can improve some of those things on the skill tree. So we could get energy regeneration. I mean, we're already making 2.3 per second, and our attack speed is 1.1, whatever that means. So if we're attacking, you know, the fastest assassin we do it is like every 1.1 seconds, maybe. Maybe that's what it's saying. So you see, I'm, you know, regenerating that much quicker. But on the skill tree, there are actually skills such as scattering projectiles, which, if I read it out, your projectile scatter into 2 new projectiles on enemy hit. Damage is equal to your projectile damage. So giving you more damage with the skill, but that costs an additional energy. So your weapon cost is 1, your skill cost is then added to that. So if this costs 1 and, you know, I get this other one, then that pretty much every shot is using up all 3 of my energy, and then it's going to take more than 1.1 seconds to refill that energy. And anyway, we're going to maybe aim for one of those. So we don't have any companions, but we could aim for companions too. Let's say we're going to aim for this thing first. So we're going to get the companions thing. So we use that 1 point, go here, and you can see that the tree comes out. So maybe we're going to go down the companion route this time, even though we have got a sorcerer-y kind of person, and it doesn't really help you. Anyway, sometimes enemies drop hearts, which is obviously health. Your health is up on the left if you hadn't noticed it, which you probably had. Anyway, they're being generous at the moment. They don't always drop hearts. In fact, it's looking like the game is really easy. Maybe the basement has a higher drop percentage for hearts. The spiders obviously jump at you. If they hit you, lose life. And we've gone up another level. In fact, we're on level 4 already. So early on, you can get lots and lots of levels. So we're going to get the scattering. And yes, we're going to maybe try and aim for this thing as well. Or a couple of these things. So we got lots of companion damage, but we don't actually have a companion, which isn't helpful. That's fine. Lots of hearts on the ground. So walking around the map, you're probably wondering why we're walking around the map. There's this door, which I don't think it'll let us leave just yet. Okay, so now you can see the scattering taking effect. When we hit the enemy, it's, you know, hitting others, which is, you know, in a way almost tripled our damage, but not actually. I mean, it's random, so it doesn't always hit. Anyway, we've got another skill level up point, so we're going for this one so we can actually use our companion damage. And you can see the tree is just growing around us. One more level and we'll have a wolf companion. You'll also find, so this is like the exit, this is to take you to the main boss of the level. We need to do something first before that opens, but there's also randomly on the floor some other things that appear. So this portal leads you to a kind of tower defense game. The ancient shaft plunging into the heart of the earth, where shadows grow bold and creatures of the abyss hunger for the world above. Anyway, it's kind of like tower defense, in the sense that there is a tower, and you have to defend it. It has health. There's this other currency, sky gems. I don't know. So we don't have any sky gems, so we can't do this. So all we do is start the defense. And the enemies appear, and if my guy had any sort of accuracy, then it wouldn't be so awful. But we took some damage because of this weird snail thing. This thing's lost a bit of health as well. Anyway, they will go and attack. And having survived, we get to choose a tower upgrade, so we can have the tower throw bombs or add a fire blast. Let's say that we're going to throw bombs. And immediately we're going on to another level? Sure. I mean, later on, it's a lot harder to keep the tower alive, but we've already failed on this occasion. Maybe there was a way to keep it alive if I didn't, you know, if I wasn't terrible at the game. We'll probably attack the thing that's following us. These things only attack the tower. Anyway, so we're full on health. We ask the tower what's happened, then it just says, overrun by the creatures from the abyss below. Anyway, so we didn't really do too well. There is a shard of augmentation here. That's for the map, for the portals we saw at the beginning. And again, the hearts stick around. That wasn't enough to open this portal, so we have to find out something else on this floor that it wants us to do. Yes, each floor has a... well, what it calls is the boss, which is kind of a bigger version of one of the enemies. There's also a man saying help me, so we may do that. But this is what will unlock the gates that we saw, the kind of gold coloured gate. What we really want to do is level up so we can get a wolf companion, then we'll be attacking and killing enemies a lot quicker. I mean, we could use our sword if we wanted to get close. But also, it just loses me. My guy's weaker at this. Okay, let's... maybe... You can dodge. I just fail to dodge most of the time. So that gave us a light, so your light has gone up to 3, and the key to the end of the level. We're going to go find... and also level up. So let's... in a slightly dangerous place. We're going to get the wolf companion. And... interestingly, I pressed a different key combination that has taken us home. I didn't know that you could come home by doing that. Maybe that was a bug. Who knows? I don't know. So then, you know, what are we trying to find? We can go for more skills, or we could say that actually our energy regeneration has maybe gone down too low, so let's pick up some energy regeneration, which is this little thing here. We're going to go back, and yeah, not quite sure why it took us home. We're going to... there's plenty of health, although we have gone full on health, so maybe we died. Maybe that was what happened. Confusingly. Don't know. Probably. There isn't, as far as I can tell, something that's telling you how many shields or defenses, or is this thing in the background? Maybe that's in the background. Don't know. Anyway, so we've gone down these stairs, and there's this guy who I don't know why my wolf companion is not doing a whole load of fighting, but this is Gride, apparently. We're just hitting them from afar. It does sometimes give you warning about an enemy attack that's, you know, so the big circles, obviously, if you avoid those, you're probably okay, but they will sometimes, you know, it's avoid the big circles, but also avoid the thing coming towards you. Anyway, whoever Gride is, some kind of demon, has given us a chest, which comes with a shard of chaos, which is a map shard, and a weapon shard. So that staircase is a random thing. So within here, as well as a skill tree, and as well as the start screen, are skill gems and crafting. So skill gems allow you to change some of the nodes on the skill tree. So Shard of Conjunction will let you change the connections. So if you're like down this tree and you want to go across to here, you can potentially hop across. So like, yeah, you can change this node such that it connects. Doesn't always work, you know, to jump across, but you know, if you're lucky, or you know, if you're all the way over here, you may be able to stretch that gap. What do you want to do? Changes what it is entirely. Exchange holds the power to exchange all unused skill nodes of the same type. So I think if you can see these two are the same type, if we, although they're not skill nodes, are they? Maybe they are. Yeah, they are. Then if we change them, then that would help things. It will change all of them, I think. That's what it's saying. Refund would mean that if I don't want this anymore, I could refund it. And renewal changes everything, I think. So if you're like, if you've gone through all the ones you want and you want to change the whole picture, that could work for you very well. Anyway, we picked up a weapon shard, which is Shard of Power, which can modify your weapon, which, you know, our weapon is relatively basic. So if we do this, it has given us an extra strength. But also it's random, so I don't know. It only seems to be up or down one, and I can't seem to work out if that's what it will do, or if there is some other meta progression thing that we're missing to make it better. Sometimes the game is a bit buggy with things like that, where it doesn't let you leave. That's fine. Well, let's see if we can find the man who was shouting, because that's another random thing that's occurring on this level. This man. So this is the guy I was talking about in the main menu.
Help me! Oh, help me! When I left Anchoreth, I was surrounded by these vile creatures.
Anyway, we are going to help him. If I click leave, yeah. So let me just get one more. We're going to gain an additional projectile, because that sounds fun. We could do with more regeneration, really, but anyway. And now we're going to help him.
Help me!
He creates this little arena. I think if we step outside it, we fail. But now we have loads of projectiles whizzing around, but we can still very easily die. My wolf does a lot of the hard work for me.
Oh, help me, please!
Anyway, we have helped him.
I will forever be in your debt. I will return to...
Anyway, so he's gone to the main city that we started in. But I think, you know, if you don't give him light on this journey, then he won't appear. He won't still be there, I think is what I'm trying to get at. Anyway, I think we've done all we can here. There may be something else. But let's just go to the end. So we got the key from the slightly bigger boss guy. That opens the chest, which gives us some light and the map shards. And then we're going to the end of the level with what I would call as a boss, but they call, is it the gatekeeper? Maybe. And so this is the Emerald Widow, who I think is just defending. So there's no point even attacking it. I don't think. So I'm just going to attack the eggs. Or maybe I have to attack a certain amount for it to break that shield. But the eggs will spawn into something, I think, so you might as well. Or the eggs spawn these spiders. Anyway, our attacks now cost 3 energy, so takes longer for our energy to kind of build up, so our attack is a lot slower. So you have to balance the skills you want. And if you think, actually, I don't want one of the skills at the moment because it's not helping, then you can reduce it. Well, no, disable it, shall we say. Let's kill this thing. That is still not taking any damage. Wish my wolf would sit closer, yeah, and attack these eggs. Maybe we have to attack the eggs first. I don't know. I have done this before. Don't know. Let's just attack the eggs and see what happens. Yeah. Because now he doesn't have any defense, but I kind of want to attack this thing as well. Before it becomes a spider. Of course, you can never actually do it before it becomes a spider. But one of the more interesting things about this, maybe it's less interesting early game, because it is the skills, they change how everything works. Anyways, we've got various weapon shards, whatever. Which mean we can do things to our weapons. But also we have a choice. We can only hold on to one weapon at a time. And this is a, from the icon here, a projectile weapon. This is an ice staff. It does less damage because our current one is on 11, but this one freezes enemies, so maybe that's better. It means they won't be running towards you. So do you want less damage by 30%? Given our current one is not very rare, it's fine to do this. We have 2 skill points. We could go for the skill, but again, we don't have the energy for it. But that doesn't really help us at all because there aren't too many more projectile-based things. So we could say, and if you want to disable this, you right-click, and it's still there, and you can still choose the next skill. But it's disabled, so it won't use up the energy. What do we want? I mean, this is kind of where you maybe would use your skill gems. I wouldn't recommend changing the kind of raw endurance ones, because you may want those later. But maybe like this one, Clash of Steel. We don't have a gem of change, or exchange. So I don't really know what we would do in that situation. We could change the whole tree. I mean, sure, let's see if this does what I think it does. We're going to click this first, and we're probably going to keep it disabled, and then we're going to change. No, we're going to do this. We're going to get some more health, which, clicking those has maybe helped us. Maybe we don't have to change everything now that we've clicked them. Yeah, so we'll wait till next time, see what happens. Up here is normally a portal back to the base, and now you can see this guy.
Oh, you have returned, haven't you?
Anyway,
behold,
I think
you returned.
He's just asking for crystals. Anyway, we have 6 light. I say crystals light. He can tell you a whole load of things. Unlock character
please
requires the 30 fragments. But he can purify items and transmute them.
Please, permit...
I don't know what this means. So if I offer... Gamble. Okay, it's gambling. I don't know. I'm sure if you read it, he'll tell you all the things. Maybe I didn't, when I unlocked him before, I didn't actually keep him here. Or maybe I've never actually successfully unlocked him, I just thought I did. Either way, so that's the first level-ish. We come back here and go to the right-hand side. And it takes you back to the Pathfinder. So you've done this one, and then you can do the next one. And here we can add a, what was it? A random modifier, and we have added the ascend modifier, which gives enemies more health and a higher spawn rate. It gives us an experience bonus and a higher trinket drop rate. And we can add 2 because there are 2 slots if we want to. And we can change all map modifiers, and we can change a single one, and we can transform the map into a random map. So yeah, we create the portal, and then, the map changes. And as you can see here, some of these already come with those modifiers. I think the further on into the game, you can have 3 or 4 spoked ones with even tougher modifiers and all that stuff. Anyway, you do that, you open the portal, and you are back in the world. Now, this is a trinket. This is an offensive trinket that gives us more energy. And we have 4 slots for trinkets, I believe. And so now we have 5 energy just because of that trinket. And this is the boss level. One of them, at least. It is a massive grasshopper thing, but we're going to just kill the snake first. Already taken damage. Some of the modifiers for the augments for the map, they double the damage. So all the enemies at the moment are currently doing 1 damage per hit, but which is fine, given we had 3 health, which is a third of your health for 1 hit. But later on, they'll be doing 2 or 3, and so you'll need to build up that even more. You can see sometimes the light drops out of these random enemies, or the kind of lesser enemies, but it's all random. Anyway, we have another skill point. And yeah, just to, just for fun, I guess, we can do a shard of renewal on everything, or you'd think it would do everything. I don't understand why it doesn't do everything. Let's do it on this thing. Did it do on everything? Yeah, I think this was different. We've got another additional projectiles thing. We've got another wolf companion, so we may want to aim for that. Area effect. In fact, yeah, that's done a great job. But we're going to go with these ones here for energy regeneration, because we want energy. If we look at our stats, our shot is currently costing us 3. This is the sum from the base weapon as well as all skills. Yeah. So it's costing 3, so we're kind of behind on that, is the reason. But now we're up to 3.3. So we could, re-enable that, which we're behind again. But I think it's possibly worth it. Anyway, we can warm this egg, and we'll get a phoenix if we want to. Because I'm not going to necessarily, I'll try and show you some meta progression. So we'll save up. So we won't do the phoenix. But now we have 3 projectiles. In fact, there's another snake here. But we have to wait for our energy bar to hit the 4 before, it actually lets us fire. Oh, and these are traps. Don't stand on them. I learned the hard way, as you would expect. In fact, we could go down this, what is this? A slightly different thing, and we can talk to the Shadow Wanderer. And all shadows are the same. A creature of darkness is at me. So we can challenge this guy. I don't know what they're going to do. They fire out various things. Good for them. But they also have the ability to make one of these eggs, so maybe we'll attack the egg. I mean, it's nice that they kind of tell you which direction they're going to fire in. Although it is slightly confusing, because sometimes it means don't stand here because it's coming immediately, like these circles. I think if I stood on it, even when it goes red, then you take damage, whereas the this guy has his effect, which kind of just spreads out in that direction. So it's nice that you know there is an attack coming, but it can change. Okay. We've defeated whoever this guy is, although he has laid an egg, so we'll deal with that in a second. Will that just come out the egg? Don't know. We can talk to them. Shadow will not return, whereas our paths will cross again, Wanderer. So maybe in another life. I guess. I don't know. He gave us a couple of shards of change, which are very useful. They're the things which can change one node on the skill tree, which I can demonstrate, but I don't think we need to. See if we can get more regeneration up here. In fact, we could have got an extra wolf for even more damage. But let's go extra projectile, because why not? And if we look at our stats, we're still having that deficit. And we couldn't do it again because it's costing us all 5 of these now. But we should be, doing huge damage. Or at least having the potential. There is this weird treasure chest thing. I assume it's some kind of mimic. I don't think I've actually defeated it in my trials. So if you click it, it says 21 above it. I don't know if that's 21 waves or monsters, but sometimes the number changes at weird rates. So it says 18 now. Have I defeated 3 enemies? I feel like I've defeated more than 3. And it still says 18. Although maybe this is the same wave. I don't know. But now it says 15. But, we definitely killed more enemies than that. So, now it's going down by 1 each time. So is it waves? I don't know. I've not been able to correlate this number to anything sensible. Well, logical. Maybe sensible. May as well be logical. So, who knows? Anyway, with the power of the weapon that I currently have, well, the skills that I have, it also gets a lot harder. And that's gone down. Or maybe I'm supposed to be attacking the chest between runs? I don't know. Anyway, we did something successfully, but the monsters are still around. And presumably I get to open the chest. Yes. Which, given it's given me 2 skill shards and a heart, I would say is not worth the ordeal, because I find that I will die to that more often than not. Let's go with energy. We need max energy as well at some point. Which there is some here. But I suppose for now, we don't have many area effect things. Let's just go with more energy regen, because that helps us fire faster. Lots of health down here should we need. Energy regen. The tree will keep us happy for a while, I think. We may even, next time, hop across this path to get more projectiles, and then come down this energy generation route here. We don't currently have the boss killed, so we killed 1 big enemy on this level. We got some extra light, so we're 1 light away. Come back. Thank you. Now there's both... I mean, this looks like a big snake, but I don't think it counts. This is only a semi-big snake. I don't know. Looks big enough to me. Sometimes on the mini-map, so the thing in the top right corner, it has a red blob as the sign of your boss that you need to kill, which has the key. And one of the map modifiers will actually give you 2, say, number of bosses is increased. We've already been to this once, but you can see now we're on the next place. The tower has recuperated slightly, or maybe because it's a brand new tower. We can repair the tower, or we can prolong or make it worse, but I think for now we would just repair it with the sky gems. Why not? And now we are stronger, maybe. We'll more successfully defend. Seems to be working. Well, he said, jinxing it. There is something here attacking it. Anyway, so yes, we win. I wonder if it has the same upgrade we gave it before. We can increase the tower arrow attack speed, we can add a fire blast, or we can add spikes. It doesn't give you enough information, I think, to make the decision, like, what is the speed now, how fast is it going to be afterwards, how much damage does this attack do, so you kind of have to learn, unless if you hover over it. Unlock by, okay, the game is in early access, I haven't mentioned this yet, but it is. So, you know, that's something for them to work out. Let's just go with the fire blast, because that sounds cool. There you go, that's a fire blast, maybe. I don't know if that's showing us towards something. These are the Sky Gems currency, so obviously go for that, but don't just stand on the enemies, because I will kill you, as you might expect. Oh, there's also like a weapon here. We could repair the tower, or what do we want? We can get another fire blast, or we can deal increased damage with it, or we can increase the speed of the thing. I mean, it's highlighting that. Let's increase the speed of the arrow. At the end, we'll look at whatever this shield weapon is. I think these kind of weird virus-looking things, bacteria-looking things, are the things which attack the tower. The normal enemies just come to attack you, but the tower is going to die, isn't it? I don't know if I kept it alive. No, I think it died. Yeah. Oh well. Anyway, so there is this magic shield, which tells you is a melee weapon. So this is our sword that we've been using, which we haven't really been using it. This one does, well, if you pick it up and then you can see it, for some reason it doesn't always show you before and after, but the shield will do more damage, has 20% chance to create a protective border, which scales with area of effect size, which is something we can upgrade in the skills, and has a critical hit chance improved, but it also costs more energy to actually use. But I think it's better because we're energy based, so let's go with it. We're just not going to pick that up, we're going to leave it here. We have plenty of these soul thingies, so it's fine. And as I say, sometimes it bugs out if you haven't clicked the button. So I mean, yes, you can use this and it's giving me a protective thing or whatever, but when your projectile, you know, we've been skilling up as a projectile person, so let's do that instead. In fact, we actually do have another skill point. And we could go for another actual skill. No, press the wrong button. You know, we could have another projectile. We're going down this route, just get more and more projectiles. At some point, strengthening out the projectile would be something that we could do. We had one of the nodes before, but we didn't pick it up. So projectile damage, you know, when we have so many projectiles, that's really good. Anyway, this is open. I'm just going to do this because it'll take us back to town. I don't know why this chest hasn't opened for us. Maybe because we haven't done everything on the level? Possibly. So, and then we can experience another... Not enough energy for the attack. Okay. So that is a problem. But in the middle of battle, it's nice that you can change these. We don't have anything to, you know, we could do with getting more energy, but we'll just disable that for now. Because it required 6 energy to do the attack. So we don't have enough. It would be nice if it told you that when you selected it, rather than when you tried to fire in battle. You know, minor thing. Or not. Anyway, as our weapon is stronger, you're just playing a little bit of dodge with this tree because it doesn't move because that's a tree. And there you go, that's it defeated. think these will just, yeah, they just have health in it. I don't know, you can't attack these things, so I don't know how you can deal with it. Anyway, we're getting shards and stuff for the, whatever it is, weapons. We're getting Elder Club, which is a melee weapon. Is it better than the other one? Possibly. We're not really focusing on melee anyway, but we can pick it up. And then there is this, like, we had the trinket before. This is a legendary trinket. So this is how you get your Q ability. This one will give you extra endurance, extra energy, extra regeneration for all this just for 10 seconds whenever you click the Q button. So it's an active ability, but then you have to kill 30 enemies for that to reset. So you can only use it once every 30 enemies. And in fact, to even be able to do that, you need to have 3 other trinkets of certain types. So we have 1 trinket at the moment. If I go to T, won't even let me go to T. To see our trinkets, we only have 1. In fact, you only have 4 slots anyway. So to have a legendary one means you have the 3 of the exact right types. So we have 1 which is offensive, which is this kind of red thing. It wants us to have 2 which are green, which I think is utility, maybe. Anyway, so we could pick it up, but it won't do anything for us right now. I grab the energy because that means we can now use this. Sure, we'll pick that up and give it a slot. And we're going to go home. And we can choose. I don't know if he's going to accept the light.
Oh, please,
no.
Gather.
We need to give him 30 in one go. And unlocking a skill.
I can discern.
We then get your, usual kind of roguelike thing where you have a choice of 3. So these are the skills that you can unlock. If you're thinking I'm, much preferring the projectile, then you can go for this one because it's about range. But let's read them. Well, let's ignore melee. Let's just read these 2. Defeated enemies create 4 fast projectiles in random directions, dealing 10 damage scales with your melee and projectile damage. But that costs energy and endurance. Your range attacks create a range construct instead of attacking directly. The range construct performs 1 range attack each 2 seconds and triggers all on attack and on hit effects like your attacks do. Multiple constructs can be active at a time. So it makes you slower, this costs energy. And this is not stackable, so you can only use this once. You can only have it in your skill tree once. Anyway, of these 2, this sounds more interesting. I'll go with that. I'm not sure it's going to be that useful. And in fact, we could get that now. So when you unlock it, it does give you the skill as a skill gem. In fact, you get 2 of them, so we can, and then you can choose where to put it. I only actually put it on the outside. And if you're like, oh, I want it over on this side of the tree, you have to make sure you right-click. So it doesn't actually do it, and you can on the tree. But yeah, if we're going to go maybe down here, then we can put this here. And in fact, that joins up to this thing nicely if you wanted to do that. Like so. So we could choose that next if we wanted to. And then we have another one which you can place somewhere else, which for this one makes no sense because as it says, it's not stackable. But you can use that, put it down, and then use a shard of change to change it. So for example, this one, which is a scattering hit, which we don't care about maybe. Shard of change that. And hey, look, another projectile. We don't have the energy at the moment, but we could do. And that's the progression of getting more skills. So in the next run, that will randomly appear, maybe, or maybe not. And again, we now have 2 light, which we could stick onto this tree. But we're still, this is the same run, but we're only on like the second world, I don't know what to call it, area, map is what it calls it. And we're trying, I don't know, I haven't done it yet, maybe to make something special appear by doing something. This is, as far as I can tell, the game. There's, I've pretty much scratched the surface. Games in early access key was kindly provided. If you're, if it's interesting to you, it's been out in early access for a long time actually, but it's still getting frequent updates. And I'm assuming, based on the fact that it says 0.9 as the release number, that maybe some point soon there'll be a full release. But check it out if it interests you. Yeah. I want to thank you for watching. If you've liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe because it really helps. And yes, I want you all to have a great day. Thanks, and goodbye.